day 23 in the book of Proverbs. We are 23 of 31. We rocking and rolling, guys. I mean, for real, for real. We're on the downhill for real. So come on in here, bring a friend. How do you bring a friend? If you're somewhere that you can bring them in to watch with you right now, bring them on in. If not, you can shoot this video right over to them so they can watch it from where they are. Encourage somebody to take a look. It might be exactly what they needed today on day 23. So we're jumping right in. Proverbs 23, 4 and 5. I had to get both of these in here today, but Proverbs 23, 4 and 5. And I have to go ahead and be very, very up close and personal as I've been. I know a lot of you have wondered, why is she so close to the screen? And that's really the reason. This is an up close and personal time together through these 31 days, to where I want it to be like I'm sitting there in the car with you, or sitting beside you on the couch, or sitting across from you having coffee or tea or whatever, so that we can kind of just talk through this stuff. So invite somebody. But we are at day 23, Proverbs 23, and honestly, probably midway through, you're probably going to want to turn me off, but it's okay. So I'm going to make it short and sweet if I can, so that you don't get too mad at me. Okay, so Proverbs 23, 4 and 5, it says, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Be wise enough to know when to quit. In the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it will sprout wings and fly away like an eagle. Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Don't do it. So here the Bible has given us some keys, again, some wisdom on what to do and how to do things. Now, never will I tell you, not to go after your dreams. That's why I'm here. Go get it. Go after it. But Solomon has given us almost another warning here. He's saying, but don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Don't wear yourself out trying to get to a particular space. Because at the end of the day, number one, you're not going to enjoy it. And what are you really doing to yourself and for yourself if you are completely wiping yourself out? Somebody's got to get this. And if you are watching right now and you've been in this space, you can just say amen. You could just come in agreement with me right there to say, you know what, I've been there. I've worn myself out, and it may not have been trying to get rich on the world standards, but trying to go make this paper, or as we say these days, trying to get this bag. I wore myself out. I found myself feeling sick. I found myself losing relationships. I found myself not making the main thing because I was wearing myself out. But he says, but be wise enough to know when to quit. So he's saying, I'm not telling you to go get, not to go get it. I'm not telling you not to have tenacity, not to have perseverance, not to achieve things, not to have goals, not to desire to do well and to be well at what it is that you do. He's saying, but the wise, the way that you know that you're wise is that you know when to quit. You know when to stop. And some of us just simply don't. And if that hits you, you could just say, ouch, where you are. Some of us just simply don't know when to stop. But I want to look at something here in verse 5. It says, in the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it will sprout wings and fly away like an eagle. And remember, as I've said to you several times throughout our time together, slow down and read. Because here it gives this great, great reference to the eye and the eagle. And y'all have heard that before, to have eagle eyes. But it gives a good reference to both the eyes and the eagle, and they're both doing things. They're both flying. So you've heard of an eagle flying, and eagles being, one of the species or the birds that flies, one of the highest to be able to go up. So there's this comparison with the eye flying and the eagle flying, because it's telling us here, if one's eye flies to wealth, if that's the only thing that you and I have our eyes on, if our eyes are only on becoming rich, or becoming wealthy, it says that what you're looking at, that wealth will just as quickly fly away. So just like an eagle can fly high, just like an eagle already has wings and can get away and can go to where he's no longer tangible for you to get to, it's the same way with what your eye will do when you are looking up. That's how quickly, and guys, I just looked up and I just saw this bird flying by. But with that, just as quickly as that eagle can move, it's the same way and the same concept of how wealth will get away from us. So he's saying, don't put your thoughts, don't put all your energy, don't put all your eggs in one basket to say, I just got to do what I got to do. Yes and no. That's what it says there, basically. Yes and no. Don't wear yourself out doing it. Just know when to quit. And some of us don't know when to quit. And I've got to encourage you today, because there is a such thing as being in a place that we worship work, or work becomes our idol. And all of us know this, whether you work a 9-to-5, whether you go in and work for someone else, whether you work for yourself, it doesn't matter. The time that you are spending on that work can become an idol, and it can become something that we begin to worship. And you know what that does, that idol or that worship? What it has the ability to do is to kill our passion, it can kill our productivity, and it can kill our purpose when we don't know when to quit. So I came on this 23rd day to encourage you to find the balance between being, yes, I'm not telling you to be lazy, but you need to know when to quit. I'm not telling you not to go after your dreams, but don't wear yourself out. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have your eye on the prize, but don't let your eye be so much on wealth that that wealth can disappear and get away from you, just like an eagle can quickly fly away. Y'all hear the rhythm in this scripture? Because really, we have this opportunity to work, to bring in wealth, to bring in finances, to bring in assets, to bring in all these different things. But ultimately, they're for several reasons. They're for us to take care of ourselves and our families. They're for us to have something to give. And also is for us to be able to set up a future for our children. That's literally what it's for. Because you know the old saying, you can't take it with you. So what are you doing with it? And what are you doing to get it? Some of us are not using wisdom, because even in the ways that we are trying to get rich, we're wearing ourselves out, because at the end of the day, you can't sleep at night because the way that you're going about it. Oh, I got to go back. You're going the way that seems right to you, and not the way that God has planned out or laid out before us. So I want you to ask yourself a question. The work that I do, how I go after my finances, is it wearing me out? And is it killing my productivity? Is it killing my purpose? Is it killing my passion because I'm only doing it to get this dollar? Okay, y'all, the tide is about to turn. This is where you're going to start not liking me. Because these things can quickly turn into greed. And the Bible speaks a lot about greed. But our work should be something that we use to glorify and honor God. The Bible even tells us that in the New Testament. When we do our work, we should do it wholeheartedly as unto God. So here's my questions for us today. Do you have time for the word, for worship and prayer? Do you have time, let me add a word, to consistent word, worship, and prayer? And do you have time for those that need you? So I'll ask, do you have time for your family? Do you make sure that you are at that game? Do you make sure you're at that recital? Do you make sure you're at that spelling bee? Do you make sure that you're able to go with your partner to that conference? Do you make sure that you're there supporting them on their big day? Do you make sure that you're there waiting if they had the worst day and they've already let you know throughout the day, I've had the worst day? So you posture yourself to be somewhere to help their day turn around. Do you have time for those that need you? Because again, we work to take care of ourselves, to take care of our families, to set up a future for our children, and to also have something to be able to give. You are a blessed man or woman if you can say you have those four. Anything on top of that, really at this point, is not even necessary because it's about balance. And when I think about this word balance, yeah, I'm going to say it. When I think about this word balance, I think about this buzzword that's been around for probably, I don't know, guys, probably before the pandemic. So I would say maybe 2017, 18, maybe we need to look it up. But the buzzword, the word has been around a long time. But when it became this big buzz about this whole thing about self-care, and I think this is where you're going to get at. Can I tell you, it's not about just self-care, it's about soul care. Because that whole buzzword of, here's my self-care, I'm getting my toes done. Here's my self-care, I'm getting my hair done. Here's my self-care, I'm going shopping. Here's my self-care. I know somebody got mad. It's okay. It's okay. Because it's really about soul care. I'm talking to those who want to walk in wisdom. I'm talking about, because I know the buzzword came about because when you get to a certain space and maybe you're overstressed or you're dealing with anxiety or you've got too much on your plate, I get the word self-care, and the true definition of it is really talking to you about taking care of things so you're not ill. So you don't get to a space of having to quit. But I have to be honest, getting your toes done is not going to change it. Anything external is not going to change it. I got to say that again. So let's not worship work. Let's not make work an idol. Let's not wear ourselves out to where now we're saying things like, I need self-care so that I can buy a new outfit. No, I want to disrupt that. It's about our soul care. It's not about a fancy meal. I'm all for the fancy meal. I'm all for getting your hair done. I'm all for going to get your toes. We need to, some of us. I'm all about getting your nails done if that's in your budget to do and that's what you want to do. But that didn't really do anything to care for you. Wise people make sure that the soul of their manhood, the soul of their womanhood, their mind, their will, and their emotions, because toiling or wearing yourself out can create torment. I've been there where you've let yourself work to a space of torment. And some of your spouses know this. Some of people that you're dating, they know this because they see it wearing you out. Have you been in a space that you allowed work to overtake your entire life? And if you're at that space today, I told you, I think it was on day 20 maybe. Let me give you notice. I'll say like I said on yesterday and like the word said on yesterday. If you foresee danger, take precautions. I'll leave you with Luke 12:15. It says, then he said, beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own. This is the Bible. That's the New Testament. I know we're talking about Proverbs. That's the New Testament. Also says 1 Timothy 6:9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. Both, not just the temptation and the snare, the getting caught up in it, and into many foolish and hurtful lust. which drown men in destruction and perdition. So I remind us today, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Be wise enough to know when to quit. We talked about the eye and the eagle. Both of them can quickly get away from you. There are 4 things we should be focused on: taking care of yourself and your family, and setting up a future for your children if you have them, and always be in a position that you can give or serve others with what it is that you have. Everything outside of that, check yourself to make sure it's not greed. Day 23 is getting real. Love you guys. Have a great day.